Now let's talk about, though, this other attempt to take down Donald Trump, which is this hush money trial in New York. The judge, who people have said has links to the Democrats, has said that Trump was losing credibility. His lawyers were losing credibility in their arguments that the president shouldn't be punished for violating a gag order in the case. Where is this case up to? What are the politics of this here? This is what I'm very curious about. How is this playing out, or is this just simply something that's grist for the Trump derangement syndrome people?
It's a little bit of all of the above. Keep in mind, this is not a case about hush money payments to an alleged prostitute or an adult film star. This is about how those payments were booked by the Trump organization. Were they mislabeled as business expenses? Were they really campaign-related expenses in regards to his 2016 election for president? And thus, should they have been shown as a federal election expense? This is a bookkeeping case once you put all the salacious sort of information aside. It is by far, James, by far the weakest of all the cases against Donald Trump. When these charges were announced, I think it's just over a year ago now, keep in mind that even Democrats had to come to many Democrats came to Trump's defense and said, this looks like it's politically motivated. None of that has changed. Is it Donald Trump? A little bit. It's keeping him off the campaign trail. Is it helping Donald Trump? A little bit. It does give him a wonderful sort of platform every single day when he walks out of the courtroom and the press is there waiting for him to speak. So it is cutting both ways. He's going to soldier through it. My guess is we've got another 2 weeks before this one's over.
Yeah, and I mean, just on this whole thing, it does keep him stuck in New York, and now that means he's not on the campaign trail. He said he's going to try and win in New York State. Have a listen to this.
And we're going to make a play for New York. They said, I just heard there was a very good poll came out. Normally, a Democrat will win New York. Biden is the worst president in history, and we have some very bad people here, but we have the greatest people, and they're right behind me. And they all want us to run, and we're gonna run very hard in New York.
And Mick, he's being cheered all over the place where he does go. Have a listen to this.
Talking about how unusual it is to see so many Trump supporters in Manhattan at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. Does that surprise you?
No, absolutely not.
Now, obviously, those are construction workers. They're going to have politics maybe different to your typical sort of Upper East Sider. But, Mick, I mean, is there any chance that he could start to make some lemons out of this lemonade of being stuck in Manhattan?
No. You asked me a question. I'll give you a straight answer. No Republican presidential campaign is going to win New York. In all seriousness, back in 2020, the very beginning of 2020, before COVID, and when the Democrats were looking like they were going to nominate Bernie Sanders, we did have some polling data that said New Jersey could be in play. New Jersey is a state that is also heavily Democratic. We'd never had any data in our wildest dreams that would put New York into play. So I hear what Donald Trump is saying. It's the right thing to say. My guess is his campaign is saying, Donald, say whatever you want to. We're not spending any time or any money in New York that we don't have to. We're going to Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Arizona, because those are where the election are going to be won and lost.
And finally, Mick, just on this other case here, the one before the Supreme Court around immunity for ex-presidents, it does sound in the last few hours like the Supreme Court is going to wind up giving some immunity to former presidents. Is this going to wind up being a big win for Trump and a shutdown to the lawfare that they've been pushing on him?
Probably not. Here's here's the issue: is a president totally immune forever? And I don't think that can be the result. A president can't, for example, kill somebody 10 years after he's out of office and then not face justice for that. My guess is, it's an educated guess, we've been watching it very closely here in the last 24 hours with the arguments today in the Supreme Court, is that the Supreme Court's going to draw a line and say, look, anything that's related to the job of president while you're in office, you can't be sued for that. You can't sue George Bush for invading Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. You can't sue Joe Biden for this student loan debacle after they're out of office. But if you do something outside of office or outside of your role as president, think of Nixon as a candidate breaking the Democrat National Committee, then you should be sued for that. My guess is that's what this case is about. Where do you draw the line? I don't know. We'll know the answer to that for several months.